Not too glitchy. All right. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, we're having a little trouble getting connected here, and hopefully, quality of this is acceptable. Sorry, getting the camera set up still. Okay, so good morning. We're officially live here, I hope, on Ask the Agronomist. Adam and I are back in the Nutrient Studios here south of Macomb. Been a long time since we've been here. Adam and I were joking about how long it's been since we were here in Macomb. We've been lots of off-site locations, doing things with different people, from meetings and having opportunities to be out and about. But it's nice to be back here where we typically have some really good, reliable internet. Making me a little bit concerned here this morning because it was taking forever to connect. But hopefully the quality will be good. Hopefully we can have a good conversation. I've got 2 pages of notes. So this is one of those days that even if we don't have many questions come in live on the chat, rest assured we will have plenty of content to discuss. So lots of things going on out in the fields. We've got people that are done planting, people that haven't started planting, people everywhere in between. We've got people that have had, Adam, 6 inches ish, probably the high water mark since last Friday. Everybody's probably had at least 2. If you've had 6, that's bad. If you've had 2, that's good. And I'm at about 4.25 ish on most of my acres at home. So that's kind of trending more towards that not good level of moisture. So if you've been traveling around some of these areas that have had 3-4 inches plus, where soils are flat and poorly drained, lots of ponds. Western Illinois, southern Warren County, McDonough County, parts of Hancock County, very, very wet. You get to east. If you caught 4 inches, probably going to be some ponding, probably going to be some replant. How long can emerged plants live underwater? Is it getting late yet? When are we going to be able to get back in the field? So lots of discussions. And I would say, as a general rule, last Thursday, so a week ago today, people who had a lot planted felt really good about the fact that they had a lot planted. People who hadn't planted much yet were starting to feel a lot of pressure and a lot of stress that maybe I messed up by being too patient. Maybe I should have more done. By Monday morning, after 4+ inches of rain over the weekend, the people who had stuff planted probably didn't feel quite as cocky as they did on Thursday. And the people who hadn't done much yet probably felt a little bit better, because some of what has been done is going to need to be, either patched in, or in some cases, in some really wet fields, you might be better off just to completely start over again. So there is going to be some replant, and that kind of changed everybody's perspective on how they were feeling about what they had done. So, I'm glad Adam's here with me today. His territory has been leading the pace, leading the race all year long, and nobody's ever going to catch up with Adam's territory on planting progress, because when the rest of us are done planting, southern Hancock County into Adams, Schuyler, Brown, Pike, down into Adams territory. Lots of V2, V3 corn, V3 most acres are planted. He's got more crop up than the rest of the state has planted, as a percentage. So it's interesting as you look around the state. A lot of Illinois, maybe 10 to 20% planted on corn, 40 to 40-ish% planted on beans. Adams territory is probably 85 plus.
Yeah, I'd say 85 plus. That's on both.
Yeah. So it's a pretty stark difference. And if you look at there's some published maps out there of planting progress in Illinois. West central part of Illinois is really the only part of Illinois that has a lot of crop on the ground. And as you go east of Illinois into Indiana, Ohio, very little has been planted. Iowa's got quite a bit planted in the western part of the state that has been very dry. Now they've gotten wet here in recent days as well. So we've changed pretty suddenly, abruptly, from what felt like a really early spring to what's starting to make people, now it's May 2nd. It's way too early to be talking about a late spring. It's way too early to be stressing about, possible hybrid shifts and switches. But those kind of thoughts are kind of starting to enter into people's heads. So let's talk first about stand establishment and the impacts of these wet saturated soils. Generally speaking, question, Adam?
Yeah. Let's. So Jordan had a quick question coming right off the bat.
Awesome.
So, and it's a good question. If guys got one planter, you only plant one crop at a time.
Yep.
Some guys have been leaning towards beans, obviously, early planting.
Yep.
Should we be thinking about switching to corn now more so than beans?
Yeah.
That's this question.
Yep. So I would say yes, Jordan, generally speaking, to that question. And that's become kind of a trend in recent years. If you've got one planter, you start on beans, and if things go well, maybe you finish your beans before you do any corn. But what more often happens is you start on beans, you run on beans for a while, you start getting into late April. The one caveat to that would be if you want to, when we go back into the field and we're just starting back up, if you want to push it for a couple days because you're worried about getting late, if you're pushing condition, I'd rather you do that to your beans, not your corn. So, you might have some opportunities to maybe plant a few more beans before you switch to corn. But generally speaking, I would give corn priority now that we're into early